Hello everyone, welcome back to Seeker Plus. I'm your host, Julian Huguet, and today we're going to take an in-depth look at a concept that's burst into the forefront of the public's consciousness recently, even though it's been slowly simmering under the surface for years now. This idea has literally limitless possibilities, for better or for worse, and depending on who you ask, it's either a decade away or it's already here. In this series, we're going to explore the Metaverse. I mean, not like literally, we're not going to jump in like Tron, but conceptually, obviously. And we're going to break it down into three parts: what the Metaverse is, what's required to build it, and the possible upsides and downsides. So, why has the Metaverse become a buzzword all of a sudden? Well, mostly it's thanks to the fact that at the tail end of October 2021, Mark Zuckerberg, co-founder and CEO of Facebook, starred in a video that featured, along with an inexplicably placed bottle of barbecue sauce, an important announcement for the company. Facebook was officially changing its name to Meta, a sign of just how much Zuckerberg has staked the company's future on the Metaverse. Still, I'm probably going to slip and call it Facebook a whole bunch in this show. I mean, do you remember when Google rebranded to Alphabet? Because I can't ever get that right still. Anyway, after watching the hour-plus presentation, I still wasn't exactly sure I understood what the Metaverse is or why I would want to participate in it. So I did some digging. And it turns out that no one really has one solid definition for what the Metaverse is or will be. Some commentators say it already exists in a form, while others would argue we're years away from a true Metaverse. It may help to go back to where the term originated, a 1992 sci-fi novel by Neil Stephenson called Snow Crash. In the book, Stevenson's characters can enter a shared virtual space that's a successor to the internet. It's synchronous, so when one user interacts with the world in some way, other users can see the effects and react in real time. And it's persistent, meaning it keeps going when a user logs off. Although it's so immersive, some users never leave. Users access it through virtual reality goggles and experience it as a gigantic city street. In the Metaverse, people can do everything they can do in the real world. They can socialize, shop, explore. There might even be digital doubles of real-world places for them to visit. The virtual nature of the world opens up more possibilities, though, like floating light shows, or areas where the laws of physics are different, or where people can kill each other. I mean, not each other, really, but each other's avatars. They're digital representations that can take any form. The book is also credited with popularizing the term avatar, but the idea is actually borrowed from Hinduism, where an avatar is the incarnation of a deity in human or animal form. A lot of these things are probably ringing a bell for a lot of you listening, especially if you're like me and you play video games. Video games have been bringing people together virtually for decades in a way that more closely resembles the Metaverse than other online media. Not all video games, mind you. Video games are, after all, an enormous amorphous blob of genres. Single-player games where you have no avatar, like Tetris, those bear no resemblance. Some first-person shooters support multiplayer lobbies that can host as many as 150 people interacting instantaneously, as long as they're not lagging out, warping everywhere, and they're impossible to hit. But the world isn't persistent. The maps reset between matches, even if players reduce them to rubble. Some games, though, incorporate so many features of a metaverse, the similarities are hard to unsee. Some argue that Minecraft should count as a metaverse. It's a game where people spend hours upon hours literally sculpting their own worlds cube by cube. If the world is hosted on a public server, it can be shared by huge numbers of people, and each one of them is capable of contributing to it. Each world can establish its own rules, and players can have the freedom to modify the rules or the game in just about any creative way their technical skill permits. If users don't like a certain world, they can just take their avatar to another. There are Minecraft economies that have cropped up totally organically. Players can buy and sell goods with in-game currency or with real legal tender. Another game that's been pointed to as an existing metaverse is Fortnite. It had a meteoric rise as a free-to-play battle royale, but it's grown into so much more. Its popularity brought big competing powers together like Microsoft and Sony, allowing players using hardware from each company to play together, and even use characters that were once exclusive to their games like Kratos from God of War and Master Chief from Halo. Fortnite's developer Epic also expanded what players could do with a creative mode, where users could make custom maps and games, or even just places to hang out. Fortnite has hosted concerts from big-name artists like Marshmello with spectacular effects that are impossible in real life, and over 10 million people logged in to watch it live. Yeah, that's right, 10 million people watched a digital DJ with a marshmallow for a head pretending to mix, because, he's on a virtual turntable. Now, it might be hard to wrap your head around something like that if you didn't grow up constantly online, but it's less about the event and more about the communal experience. For tons of young people, the digital realm of Fortnite is just as much a valid place to socialize with their friends as any physical space like a shopping mall or a real-life concert venue. So a lot of ingredients are there, but for a few key reasons, some would argue they fall short of a true metaverse. For one, they're still experienced the same way we consume most things on the internet, through a flat, 2D screen. To separate itself from the internet as we know it, users should feel a sense of presence, like they're actually inhabiting the world. Zuckerberg is keen on making VR a cornerstone of his vision, which might explain why in 2014 Facebook bought Oculus, an early leader in VR headset hardware. What we have today also falls short in two other key areas. One is the limit for concurrent users in a world. The internet just wasn't built to support large numbers of people interacting with a shared world simultaneously. Servers that could host battle royale games like Fortnite, where 100 people duke it out simultaneously while they speed build walled cities of Troy, those only became possible recently. 10 million people may have watched Marshmello's Fortnite concert, but they did it split off into 100,000 separate shows that took place more or less at the same time. Server capacities are growing. New World, a game that launched in September 2021, can host as many as 2,000 players in a single world. But the imagined metaverse will have no limit to concurrent players. In it, all 10 million concert goers could watch a DJ with their avatars shoulder to shoulder. One more thing the metaverse requires is greater interoperability, although exactly how much, no one can agree. Maybe a person's avatar can be consistent everywhere they go in the metaverse. Maybe people can use a universal currency to buy anything for sale, or bring items and assets from one game or place to another seamlessly. Today, if you play Minecraft, you can do basically whatever you want, so long as it's within Minecraft. You could farm 500 million potatoes, but you can't bring them over to Fortnite and start hucking spuds at Kratos and make him potatoes. You might consider each of these games a metaverse unto themselves, but what many futurists picture is one massive, all-encompassing online realm. It'll even include the internet as we know it today, and an augmented reality layer that sits on top of the real world. Not a metaverse, the metaverse. That's the end goal of companies like Facebook. I'm never going to get that right. How exactly we achieve this immersive, unified virtual space is anyone's guess. A lot of big-name players and smaller stakeholders are positioning themselves to shape it. So, let's talk about what needs to happen for the metaverse to actually get built. We'll do that in our next episode. Thanks for watching. If you like this episode, be sure to like and subscribe. So now that you have a definition to kind of work off of, how does the metaverse strike you? Do you see yourself living there, or would you rather move to a shack in the woods? Or, just keep using the 2D net like we've been using. Let us know in the comments, and if there's any other topics you want to see Seeker Plus break down, let us know there too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.